Hey guys, what's up? Hope everybody's doing good. Yeah. So, can somebody give me a 5 for 5 in the chat there, and we'll get cracking. Sweet. Crazy Mexican. Like the name. Crazy? Love it. Love it. Alright, so, here we go. It's going to be a fast one, guys. I'm not even going to look at the chat. I hope you guys are doing good in there. But yeah, so here we go. Guys, we had an unexpected eruption. I already talked to you guys about this geomagnetic storm here. Again, is what it is. We didn't expect that to hit either, but that was the wake of a previous CME that hit. It did not cause like grid down, but we did see some Aurora pretty far down. I think I've seen some reports in New Hampshire and south of the border from Canada, south of the Canadian border, which isn't, I guess typical conditions, but it's not, unexpected to see that kind of stuff often, right? But anyway, that did happen. I wanted to point that out. We had a filament eruption right here. It did put off some X-ray. I don't think it's going to be classified as a flare. I guess it probably will. I bet it's like a really small class C flare. I'd have to go. Well, we can go look over here at Space Weather. Yeah, they did. Right there. It's a C1. Okay. And by the way, guys, go check these guys out, spaceweather.com. They do an awesome job. Just wanted to put that out there. Now, here we go. Yeah, so I tell you what, because I wasn't expecting to do this right now, guys, so I just kind of threw this together really quick. So let me show you what's actually happening here first, and I'm going to put this to is this the 304? I have to zoom out a little bit, sorry. Like I said, guys, this is something that I just kind of threw together real quick because I wanted to get it out to you. I'd imagine there's other people out there reporting on this by now also. This really didn't happen until like early morning hours for us. So, or at least on the East Coast. Eastern time, whatever you want to say there. But again, so I'm going to zoom back in. It happens right here. And I've said many times, guys, especially during, a slower solar time in the cycle, that the sun can do what it wants, where it wants, and how it wants. That's exactly what you're seeing here. And I'll show it to you here. It's right here. And again, it's not, I don't want to put this out here as a big deal, but it is coming at Earth, okay? It looks to, anyway. The models haven't updated as far as direction, like the Endel spiral over at NASA or Noaa. But right there it was. This is from our view, right? It's from SDO satellite. It's always looking at the sun from our perspective. I can't remember exactly how many miles out it is from Earth, but it does, it does go with us around the sun. So, and it always looks at the Earth. But you're going to look right here. And I was going to call it like the snake turning into a bat type of thing, because that's what it looks like. It's pretty cool stuff right here. But again, I don't want anybody to think this is grid down anything, because I always get that question, and it is a legit question. I get it, but for the most part, guys, when we're talking about grid down stuff, you're not going to have to wonder if I'm out here going to tell you that, because that's going to be the first thing that's going to come out of my mouth. Okay? I just want to put that out there. So, see this little S shape? That's a filament. Now, you've heard me talk about these filaments. They're just like an incandescent light bulb filament inside old style light bulbs. When they break, they erupt. They don't work anymore, right? But on this one in particular, you can see the S. It's pretty clear. Now, if this had been over here where we could see it at a different angle, it would have looked really, really dark probably. But it wasn't a huge filament. You can see this. It's only from here to here. And I'm zoomed in quite far here, guys. And you can see, I mean, obviously, you guys can see that. But it did leave the sun. Sometimes these filaments will fall right back down. Am I going to say what kind of strength this is? Absolutely not. Not at this point. There's nothing I can, it's just too early, right? If I'm going to sit here and judge like speed and all those kinds of things, it's just a pure, I guess, I don't want to even call it educated guess because I'm not formally educated, but I look at this stuff a lot. And it doesn't look like it's real dense, or it doesn't look like it's moving real fast. And why I say that is because of this. This is, again, this is LASCO C2 from the SOHO satellite. This one's a little bit closer to the sun. It's about 1 million miles closer to the sun than what we are, but it's doing the same thing essentially as SDO is doing. It travels with us around the sun, and it always looks at the sun. Yes, they can turn it, but for the majority of its mission, it's looking that way, and it's actually catching sun divers quite often. I think that was kind of one of the unexpected benefits of having that satellite out there. I don't think they expected to really get that kind of I don't know. I don't think they expected to pick that kind of stuff up that easy. But you can see full halo. Full halo. There's no question that asked. That is definitely, you know, when we see the halo stuff, it's either going off the backside if we're looking from SDO's perspective, right? Our perspective. So with this black occulter disc, when we see these, we don't know if it's right away. We don't know if it's going off the backside or towards us. So we have to have a side view, right? And that's where we look at stereo A, which is now a partial side view. And I'll go into that for a second here in just a second too, because, you know, that side view is getting smaller and smaller and smaller because the satellite is moving closer and closer to Earth in the orbit. And that was designed to do that. It used to be out there, I believe, right around 90 degrees. I mean, it's inside probably 30 degrees now. I don't know. I'd have to go look at the exact angle. But this is our side view. Earth would be over here. So you can definitely see that north-south, because that's what this gives us, basically. A north-south orientation if we're over here. It fanned out just like that. And we can definitely tell that it's actually going to the right. It's not going to the left. That means that both satellites are saying, hey, this thing's coming at Earth. And it is, right? So again, you can kind of see the center of it here. And it's shooting off there. I know that these lines are picking this up here. But this here is probably just the density, the more dense parts of it. They tend to show up a little bit brighter depending on the angle. But that's what you're seeing there, right? But it does fan all the way out. So what's that mean for us? Well, again, I can't give you strength or anything like that right now. There's just no way to be able to do that. And I wish I could. But I used to try to do that. And I learned real quick that you come out here and you say something like that and you're wrong, then you got to come back out and say, hey, I was wrong on that. So we got days before this thing gets here. So people that are reporting on this stuff, please have some patience on trying to tell people that it's either strong or not. Because, yeah, there's just no sense in trying to say how strong that is at this time. It's not going to affect us for a couple days. Probably more like 3. Because it didn't look to be moving that fast. So just kind of have that in the back of your mind when you're looking at these things. Because you don't want to come out here and start saying things, because it's just like when you watch the weatherman, guys. You know, back when I was a kid, I heard the term like tornado warning all the time, but then nothing happened, right? So what did that do in my mind? It caused me to doubt how credible that was. So I started ignoring it to some level, and then all of a sudden you get a tornado dropped on your head. Because it had been like that. And that's why I send you guys over to people like Ryan Hall for meteorological weather, because he does not do that. Ryan Hall's his name. If you guys haven't been to see his, go check him out. His channel's growing leaps and bounds. He's got storm spotters, and he won't say, hey, there's a tornado warning, or hey, you need to go get, go get into your safe spot unless you need to do that. Right? Obviously, he can be wrong just like the rest of us at any time. But I would say his percentage of being right is really, really good. So my point here is that we see both gamuts here on Space Weather where people start reporting this stuff, and they're not going to tell you that, right? A lot of them, because all they want you to hear is, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Well, when it's time to actually be, oh my gosh, nobody's going to listen. And that's why, and I used to be part of that, and I've pushed back against that now because I see the negative parts of that. And I'm going to be real, right? I mean, if it's like that, I'm going to say, hey, there's a chance of this or whatever, but this one here doesn't look, it's not a grid down, guys, okay? Unless something odd happens like with that geomagnetic storm the other day. And I'm not trying to say anybody's right or wrong. I just tend to have a little bit more patience when reporting on this stuff nowadays. And I think that's the best way to be honest with you. Now, these are current conditions here. Nothing really much is going on right now, guys. Orange is density. Purple is speed. We are elevated a little bit in speed, but it's from a coronal hole stream that was expected to be here. It's not doing much of anything. But we are seeing another big coronal hole. And I'll take you guys back over here to... I want to get this one going back to a different wavelength real quick, and then we'll skip out of that for a minute. So let me take you back here. This is a Noaa forecast model. This is Enlil. It's the Enlil model that Noaa uses, and NASA uses the same model, but just with different data input. Okay, you can see here the conditions of Earth are in green, and you can see the uptick, right? So what this does is it takes current conditions, which are about right here, where this yellow line is. Okay, and they tell you what happened the previous 2 days, and they try to forecast out 5 days. Now, I don't really trust the forecast out much more than 2 or 3 days because it gets changed a lot, and I'm glad they do change it. But remember that when you're looking at this. But this is coming from another coronal hole. Maybe, I don't know if there was a CME involved with that one. That could have been like giving us a sideways blast. I don't know. But we'll go take a look at that, and that's where that's happening right there. So, with this eruption happening right here, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, probably around the 15th, maybe between the 14th and 15th when this thing's going to hit. And again, please don't make it a more bigger deal than what it is. And I'm not trying to do that. If I'm putting that vibe out, I'm sorry, because I don't mean to. It's not ever my intention to do that. So, and again, I say that every stream because it needs said. Now, what I want to show you guys here is, again, there was no sunspot here. This was a filament eruption that did eject off quite a bit of plasma there, but it did produce some X-ray. So, but there was no sunspot. And this is what I say, the sun can do what it wants, when it wants, and where it wants. I mean, it's just that simple. And when we're in like a solar minimum type of situation, which is not where we're at right now, but we've seen this quite often because there weren't that many sunspots back then. Right? So, watch the whole atmosphere get disturbed. It's getting ready to. It happens right here in the middle. I mean, it couldn't have happened any more right in front of us than what it did. It's really right in front of us. And we've been seeing that. It's kind of you see that, guys? You see how they erupted out? So, and you can even see how the conditions right there in that spot started to calm down. So that's what's going on there. So let me just grab the slide bar and we'll take you to that part, and I'll rock this back and forth a little bit so you can see it. Okay, so, and something else of note, watch over here right before this one blows. We had a second eruption, see that? And if you keep going forward, now we're seeing this quite often too. And somebody was asking me about how come we're starting to see this stuff closer to the equator of the sun. Well, because that's the natural progression of the sunspots. And I'm not going to go into a big lengthy detailed discussion on that right now, but they do start lower and they kind of migrate towards the center. And basically the main reason is because the equatorial region of the sun rotates faster than the north and south poles. So it stretches the magnetic lines out, and eventually it starts pulling it in towards the equator. That's what a sunspot is, guys. Basically it's a magnetic line that pops through the surface. Okay, and that's what you see. So, let's just move here to. I wanted to show you that real quick. Geoelectric model, guys. Again, this is something we look at quite often here because geomagnetism changes our geoelectric conditions. Oftentimes when we get hit, and this is trying to represent the effects of space weather on our electrical grid, artificial electrical components. They use this in the study of trying to connect space weather to seismology, which would be earthquakes, volcanoes, and all that stuff. Oh, and on that, hey, I was supposed to do a show with Ron. It was my fault that didn't happen, just so everybody knows. I don't want anybody saying, hey, Ron or me or anybody. It was actually stuff I couldn't help. But it was not on Ron's end. It was on my end. So I was on Emergency Management Associates. I was going to go over there and give an update. But by the time I was able to do it, the event was already over. So, yeah. So let's go over here to the Aurora. You're not going to see much here, so I'm not going to waste too much time. Again, conditions here at the Earth right now are not that elevated. So, what are they? Okay. I did read this article right here. This was cool. Okay, this is a guy that gets notifications from spaceweather.com when these things happen, right? So when he was a new subscriber and he got a notification we were in a G3 storm. So he went out and started listening to his ham radio, and what that sounds like in the radio bands and stuff like that, they're saying it's almost like the vibrations coming up through water, bubbling up through water. So he's going to, next time this happens, I guess this guy's going to, and who was it? Jim Falls, K8FWT, that would be his radio probably signal or his dedicated area there, of Eureka, California. And again, give him some love over here, guys. Go check it out. He's going to try to record it the next time that happens and get it out there. So, but yeah. Now, on to the earthquakes. There's not much going on. It does look, and I haven't really been keeping up with the earthquake part a whole lot right now. But it does look like we're having some swarming over here and over here. And these aren't really odd places to see swarming, because I think if you guys listen to any earthquake channel or even mine, when we're pointing out swarms, we do point them out here quite often. And there was some like sixes over here in Vanuatu the other day, I think 2 days ago or something like that. Excuse me, sorry guys, I got the hiccups. Don't know why, but anyway, guys, I did want to come on here and give you guys that update. I was going to show you the coronal hole real quick. That's why I went to this one. See, you guys hear that? I never get the hiccups. That's weird. I don't get the hiccups hardly at all after I had my bariatric surgery. That's been 10 years ago, and yeah, so when I get them, it's kind of odd. But we connected to this one, so the solar wind from that one is what I think is, this is picking up right here, okay? This is why Noaa is showing that. Now, when that gets here, they haven't forecasted out up here yet, the 14th. So we could see them say, hey, possibility of geomagnetic storm there. I do look for them to say, hey, probably a G1 or something like that. At least some sort of prediction after this most recent eruption. They'll have to look at it and all that kind of stuff, which takes time. And we have that time, okay? That's why I'm saying, guys, we don't have to jump out here and just say, oh gosh, because we don't know oh gosh yet. We just simply don't. But anyway, there you go with the coronal hole. This is the one we were already connected to. And again, we may be seeing some solar wind increases from that. And so this is the other one. And these are right in front of us, guys. So we will connect to these things. And this one seems to be pretty large and open. It's not like extreme or anything, but it is. So, and so yeah, guys, been rocking and rolling. Hey Trish, what's up? But I'm not going to be able to take a look at the chat here a whole lot, guys. I got to get. I got stuff I have to do today. I wasn't even planning on doing this, but I didn't want to let you guys down when something like this happens. I want to come out here and let you guys know. Is everybody buffering? Oh, buffering, huh? Any better? Somebody let me know. Yeah, my, oh, wow. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why we were buffering, but my internet signal just kind of almost dropped completely out. I lost about all my bandwidth. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. I can't control the strength of the internet. I can only do what I can do here, and I know you guys aren't complaining or anything, but I did. I switched over here to my OBS. I'm looking at my OBS, and it'll show me when the internet signal kind of really, really drops. It went down to almost zero. It almost shut my stream down. Pretty close. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here, guys. I appreciate you. Hope y'all have a good one. Go check out the normal channels I tell you guys about every time. Obviously I say the lifeboat all the time. Guys, please come over and check out the lifeboat. We've been doing some really good stuff over there, and people are getting a lot of help. People love each other over there, and that's what we do. And that's the other thing too, guys. We don't allow people to talk bad about any other channel. I don't care what it is. Over there, over here. If it gets talked bad about here in my chat or anything like that, I will just have to erase it. My mods know what to do there. So, anyway, guys, God bless. Yahusha saves. And you can drink this Kool-Aid.